Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We're excited to have another global conversation. Sometimes the path to a destination isn't always a direct line. We have some guests here, both from Rhode Island, from Mexico, and Dallas. However, our Dallas person is currently in Mexico, and that is Brenda Taylor. She is the NAR ambassador to both to Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras. We have Alejandro from Mexico, Yolanda from Rhode Island, and Chimila. A couple of housekeeping tips. Excuse me, attendees will be able to post questions. However, they will be reviewed and answered after the webinar. But please, if you have something on your mind, do write it. We will look at it after. My name is Agueda del Borgo. I serve on the Rhode Island Association of Realtors Global Council. We have a couple of fellow volunteers. And to start off the question, I'd like to invite Brenda, you'll tell us where you are in Mexico at the moment. Please, the stage is yours.
Hi, everybody. Well, I just happened to be in Mexico today. We are actually taking the plane going back home later on. But we are at the Riviera Maya. We came to the invitation of some developers to look at some properties, amazing properties. The Riviera Maya is just incredible. So, I am Brenda Taylor. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I have several leadership positions. I'm a volunteer by heart. So I don't want to bore you with everything that we do and everything because Agueda does the same thing. But I have chair and vice chair positions and director position in the 3 levels and local, state, and national. But I think the one that keeps me, one of the one that keeps me the busiest is being an ambassador for NAR for Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras. In the state as well.
So Brenda, I mean, because you do have 2 or 3 minutes, that was a very short introduction. We're going to brag on you a little bit. You are a CIPS instructor, which is very, very important. And through that, you're able to share information, but also, I think, build your network, right? So that, and, speak a little bit about the process and your involvement in this case, particularly with Mexico. And we also want to know what's happening a little bit in Dallas, right? Again, referral business, global referral business isn't always a direct line. And I think it's important to just get to know sort of the pit stops, if you will.
You want me to share my slides now?
Yeah. Yes, that would be lovely. Yes, this is the time.
So let's do this really quick.
Excellent.
Okay, so let me just share this. Why is not, there it is. There is a big, strong connection with Mexico and the state where I live, which is Texas. And I love this because we are not only neighbors, our connection goes back into history and more specific into the history of NAR in Mexico. We go back about 30 years when AMPI and NAR started relationship, is starting to get together to share knowledge, to share connections and all these. So Mexico is one of our 78 bilateral partners around the world. Probably one of the most active associations that we have. We have about 110 associations worldwide. And when I say connection with Mexico and Texas, it's not only the 1,900 miles of border, but we are neighbors. We share a lot of the culture. We have a lot of population from Mexico that live in Texas. So it's not surprising if you're sitting in a restaurant, you're going to the store, that everybody speaks Spanish there. And just to give you an idea, the demand for U.S. citizens that have moved to Texas, to Mexico, is huge. Just you can see on the screen in front of you, from 2019 to 2022, the demand jumped 70% of the people that are looking for Mexico as a second home. Actually, you also have a right there in front of you that 1.6 million people from the U.S. either live already in Mexico or have the second home in Mexico. So for Texas, Mexico is our number one partner, commercial partner. And why a lot of people move to Mexico, I would say bottom line is because the lifestyle is amazing. In Mexico, you find, and Alejandro Miranda from Mati will tell you a little more about Mexico, but in Mexico, you can find mountains, beach, you can find industry, you can find industrial, you can find everything that you can imagine. You can really live a good life between $2,000 and $2,500, a month. So it's very nice. Now, to give you a little more detail here, you can see also on the screen, this is taken from Texas Realtors International profile for buyers. Look at what it says, $4.8 million of international business in Texas in only 1 year. And who is our top partner here is Mexico. Out of the $4.8 billion, we have 30% that are coming from Mexico. So that is a very important number, and that's why we keep that relationship, because we can do a lot of business together. The map will show you where Texas get the international clients, and you can see Mexico was by far. Second to Mexico is Canada with 8% of the 4.8 million, which, everybody is important, but when we see these huge numbers, then we pay attention, where the economy is growing and where the money is coming from, and then we start working closer and with, tighter relations. You also can see this is very interesting, because you can go to Florida, you can go to California and see where people are buying and why they're buying. Mainly it's for vacation ownership, right? They buy a second home. However, in Texas, most people buy, foreign people buy primary homes or secondary homes, not necessarily vacation, but to live here. So these numbers again represent people that either have a tourist visa that own homes here, or they come for work, or they live in Mexico, but they have a home in Texas. And I thought this was very important. And by the way, you can see all these numbers in a bigger presentation for sure in Texas Realtors website. And it's called 2025 Profile of International Buyers. These numbers I'm presenting you right now are buyers only. We're not even talking about sellers. But the main thing is to identify where this business is coming from. And that's what Texas Realtors does, all these surveys to find out how are these people that are buying in Texas from Mexico, from China, from other places, how they're finding, how they're buying their homes. Well, they have been referred by a person of contact. That's what is so important, the networking. When we go to NAR, don't stick with the same people. It's fine you have your friend, but bring your friend and meet other people. That is very, very important, because that's how we do business, not only in Texas, in Rhode Island, in California, in Miami, wherever you go, right? City, state, whatever. Also, we have a lot of referrals. I can tell you, I have not spent probably a little money, but not much money in advertisement in the last 10 years when I started getting involved in global. And because everything either come from previous clients that have more friends coming into Texas, or personal contacts that I met in a networking, or many times I haven't even met them in person. We see them in these kind of presentations, and we know there are people, a lot of you probably know Antonio from Portugal. Everybody knows Antonio. When people think about Portugal, everybody knows him and everybody refers to him. And I see him all the time in different webinars. And my sister, my brother, we had never met in person. And I see people when I come to Mexico, they come to me, Brenda, and I go, oh my gosh, because sometimes we look different on the screen, right? But then when I get here, oh, it's so nice to put a face together. And many of these people I have done business with, we have shared referrals, and it's the first time we meet in person. So do your networking is very, very important. And this is just kind of briefly, I don't want to take a lot of time here, but you can see my information on the screen. I am the global ambassador for NAR to Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras. And anything that you need from these countries, they are very active. There are 3 beautiful, amazing countries that have a lot to offer. And you can see my email and my phone number. You can text me. WhatsApp is what mainly we use when we do global business. If you don't have WhatsApp or you don't know how to use it, maybe it's time that you start.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brenda. And then we'll get back to you later because you were originally from Mexico, have lived in Texas, I think to go to college for a very, very long time, but have since purchased. And we want to hear about your experience also as a buyer, but also a little bit more about Dallas. Thank you so much. Lovely. Yolanda, you're next. Welcome. Oh, you're muted.
There we go. Sorry.
It's okay.
Good morning. My name is Yolanda Nazario. I am originally from Puerto Rico. I was born and raised there, and I came to Rhode Island 30 years ago. And I've made this my home, and I'm a mom and a realtor. I used to be a teacher for 25 years, but I'm a full-time realtor now. And we can show.
Yes,
slide.
Christina,
Yep.
are you able to share the presentation, please?
I can tell you a little bit about myself. So there's my name. I work with Home Smart Professionals. We can go to the next one. And that's a little bit about me. So I work in all 3 states, mainly in Rhode Island, but I am able to work in Connecticut and Massachusetts. I do love Rhode Island. It's super small, but this is my home. Obviously I speak Spanish, so buenos dias, soy bilingüe. I've been doing this, like I said, for 10 years. I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, but I also work with repeat clients. My referral base is mostly my clients, that sphere of influence that people talk about. So previous clients that I've helped over the years that are here, I have a lot of Spanish-speaking clients and African clients as well. Recently, I've been working with Turkish people as well. And I have a group of Chinese investors that I help with their rentals and looking for property here. They come from New Jersey, New York, Maryland, Virginia. The farthest one, there's a couple there in Virginia. They are based here in the United States, but they do travel back and forth to China, and they do invest a lot in Rhode Island. So I know how to work with them. I understand what they look for. It's different how you manage people from different nationalities. So I'm okay with that. I've had a lot of that lately. I'm also trainer for new agents or mentor. And HomeSmart, I've been doing that for a while. So I help new agents, learn the ropes as we go. Right now I have 5. So I have 5 people working with me. I'm also part of NAREP, which I'm the parliamentarian for the Rhode Island chapter. This will be, I think, my 3rd year with NAREP. I went to the conference last year in San Diego and talk about networking and doing what you have to do. I've gotten referrals from that. I met an agent from Nevada, and she's from Mexico, but she works out of Nevada. That's her home. And she called me in the spring. She's like, I have 2 clients. Will you help me? And I'm like, what? She's like, they're in Rhode Island. They need help. So I said, okay. And I've been working with them. One already closed. I have another one. We're working on that. So doing the networking has been eye-opening for me because I really wasn't expecting that, but I enjoy it. And I like the fact that she trusts me and I trust her in the process. And we just met at a table. We literally were just sitting at a session and we just started talking and we grab each other's phone numbers, and that's what happened. Locally, I work, or not work, but volunteer for the Greater Providence Board of Realtors in the CARE Foundation. I'll be the president next year, but I've been working, I think this is also year 3, with fundraising and all that good stuff with Shamila and other local realtors here. That has been really fulfilling for me. I love to help other people all the time. I have a hard time saying no. So it has been good to help other people and to work towards doing that and seeing other realtors taking from their time to do this great job for local charities and people in need in our state. I am here in the Global Business Committee because Agueda believed in me. And I like it. It's a different way of seeing the world too, getting to know people from other places. I love different people, different foods, different cultures, different ways of living. I believe in it so much that I invested and buy property in Mexico. I'm 20 minutes from Cancun and Puerto Morelos. And that happened because I have a Mexican friend here and she bought land and she's like, hey, I'm moving. I'm like, I know you are. And I also want to have another place to go besides going back to home to Puerto Rico. So I did that and I enjoyed my kids are looking forward to time away as well. So, and that was a great experience doing the whole transaction with local Mexican agents and the company there. So it was good. So I'm happy to tell you more about me, but I do work with first-time home buyers, sellers. The investors are a great part of what I do. And the charity part that I also have within me to help other people. It's not all about money, but it's about caring about people and making sure they're okay. And so that's fulfilling for me. If we go to the next slide, I just show you briefly a couple of pictures of our state. On the left, I don't know, but the big water there, that's Patuxent Village. That's a really cute area of Rhode Island. It's really, really small, but it's beautiful. In Cranston and on the Warwick line. The top one is from our city, the downtown area. And if you, it's a little low, I can't see it, but you have our coastline. The beach here is not as pleasant as in Mexico. In Puerto Rico, it's super cold for me, but we have them. So if you like boating, you can come here. People love that. The food is great as well. So this is a little bit of how we are, super small, but so it's good though, because you can get anywhere in Rhode Island super fast. Like, I don't know, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, you're everywhere. But a local Rhode Islander will be like, oh my gosh, that's too far. 20 minutes is forget it. But this is a little bit of some of, how it looks. And then if you go to the next slide, these are homes, actually. These are single family homes in Rhode Island. This is how they look. I know we're in different parts, and so it may be a little different, but this is a sampling of houses that are just single family. I do a lot of multifamilies as well, but I love these properties, so I said, oh, I'll just show them. And so we have, you know, the one level ranches, we have the race ranch, which is the one on the bottom. And the price points are all over the place, you know, like the white one, the big picture, that's 700,000 in this market, if not more. The yellow one was like 4.5, you know, 450,000. The white one around 550 any given day too. So the prices have increased here, but I think that's everywhere. And people are investing. So, you know, I'm here. If you have questions, you can call me, reach out. On the previous slide is my information, but I'm here to help anybody. If any questions, I'm available.
Thank you so much. And we do have some questions later on for everybody, so sit tight. Shamila, you are next. Thank you so much, Yolanda.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Yolanda. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shamila Ahmed. I am the principal broker and owner of Shamila Ahmed Real Estate. I hold an MBA in financial management, as well as designations as a military relocation professional and accredited buyers representative. I also serve on Greater Providence Board of Realtors and local committees. These roles allow me to bring together advanced knowledge, leadership, and community engagement to better serve my clients. I also have some beautiful pictures from Rhode Island, if you want to start the slide. And these are the listings that I have either available or have sold in the past. A little bit about me. I was born in Norway, raised between Norway and Sweden. I came to United States in the early 2000s to attend Johnson & Wales University. When I arrived in Providence, I immediately felt like I fell in love. I felt like this was home where I grew up. The climate, the charm of the city, the beauty of Newport reminded me of Europe. While Boston's proximity and only a flight over the Atlantic Ocean seemed like a natural connection between the two worlds. I grew up growing up with a Pakistani background. That's where my family's from. In Europe, gave me an early appreciation for different languages. I am multilingual and culture. And it has been invaluable in real estate, especially when working with international buyers. I bring over 18 years of experience in real estate and finance, covering residential, investment, and luxury properties. My background as a loan officer also helps me guide clients through financing, whether it's traditional mortgages, lending for buyers on visas, or alternative options such as faith-based home financing, which replaces interest with a co-ownership model. For international clients, the U.S. real estate process can feel unfamiliar. Many arrive with limited knowledge of the local market and concerns about trust, timelines, and cultural differences. I address this by explaining everything clearly from the start, so expectations are managed and confidence is built. Rhode Island is well prepared for these buyers. We are a small state, as Yolanda mentioned, but we are globally connected with top universities, diverse community, and easy access to Boston and New York. Many international clients are drawn here for our schools, coastal living, historic charm, thriving arts and entertainment scene, and prices here are more attainable than the larger metro areas. Can we go to the infographics, please? I just want to tell you some numbers. There we go. So the numbers here tell the story. In August, the median home price was in Rhode Island was $510,000, which with just 2.8 months of inventory, well below the national average of 4 to 5 months. That tight supply reflects strong demand, making Rhode Island a market where homes hold value and appreciate steadily. Compared to the national median of $422,000, Rhode Island offers buyers the opportunity to invest in a market that consistently outperforms much of the country. Out-of-state and international buyers already make up nearly a quarter of transactions, showing how strong the interest truly is. That is why Rhode Island is such a powerful choice for both international and domestic buyers. It offers stability, growth, and accessibility, while still being a place that feels personal, welcoming, and full of opportunity. For me, it has become home. For my clients, it has become not only a home, but also a smart investment. Thank you, everyone. My information is on the next slide. And welcome to Rhode Island.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for all that information. And, again, it's interesting how financing can differ so much. And that's why it's so helpful to have these discussions. Wonderful. Thank you. Alejandro, we saved you for last. Welcome, sir. And tell us about you and where you're from and about AMPI. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Agueda. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm super glad to be here with Rhode Island Realtors today. It is a true honor, honestly, to be here and to be invited. I represent the international area of the Mexican Association of Real Estate Professionals, which is AMPI. But more than that, I'm a broker, but more than that, I'm passionate about building bridges between Mexico and other nations, other associations, as we are doing right now. We work for creating opportunities for our clients, for our industries, but also for our country. Today, I want to share with you why AMPI is so important in the international arena. We are connected to NAR and all the global real estate community. And we are something around 7,500 associates all over Mexico, in something like 105 chapters. And we have 32 states, 25 of them we are already working with a local state real estate license, which is very important to offer professional services and to give certainty to all real estate operations in Mexico. AMPI is only the most important real estate association in Mexico, but we have already 70 years next year of being founded. And our mission is to professionalize the industry, to defend the interests of our real estate professionals, and to create ethical, transparent, and international business opportunities. So AMPI, led by our national president, Licenciado Karim Oviedo, we travel the world. We connect with every world, with every association. We try to make AMPI be known everywhere and make all international realtors to come and be associates of AMPI. We have a proud bilateral partner with NAR, as I said. And I have to mention that Brenda Taylor has been very important for that connection to happen. We rely a lot. Brenda is such a dependable professional, so we are proud to be connected with her and to do all the things that we are doing with NAR, with NAR. Today, together we participate in a lot of global congress, CIPS programs. Actually, Brenda was my teacher on the CIPS certification, I have to say that. And we are going to be in the next NAR event in Houston in November. AMPI is going to have a booth in the International Pavilion with the only purpose to be known internationally and to promote Mexico as a destination. We also have FIAPSI, SILA memberships, and we do that in order to ensure Mexico to be in the global conversation, to be Mexico and AMPI considered internationally. What we try to do is to get referrals and do referrals to other associations in Mexico and all over the world, and to make cross-border transactions safe. Mexico is a great destination. If you allow me, I'm going to share with you some images of what we have in Mexico. Mexico obviously is sunny beaches, great weather, but it's a lifestyle. But more than that, Mexico is affordability. We have a strong tourism. We are in the top 5 tourism destinations in the world. We have a steady economy. And just for you to show, this is a property in Manzanillo where I live. Manzanillo is what I call this a secret gem. Nobody knows about Manzanillo a lot because everybody knows Riviera Nayarit or Riviera Maya or Cabos. But Manzanillo is like a hidden gem. It's a treasure in the Pacific. So you can find amazing properties with much more or less value than in other areas of Mexico. Why? Because it is not that well known. I'm a broker here, so I know the area. This is amazing. And you know what? We have a strong American clients base, and which they decide to come to Mexico just to retire and do second homes. And actually, they also do it for investment. So in this area of Mexico, we have most of our clients are baby boomers, people that decide to come to retire to Mexico. But they also feel comfortable because Mexico offers legal frameworks, professional guidance. We have a lot of cultural differences, as we may be talking about, but the opportunity is clear. Mexico offers high-value assets, not only residential. I think Brenda mentioned it. We have a strong commercial market and industrial market. Why is that happening? Because there's a momentum in nearshoring. After pandemic, many companies decided to move back from China to Mexico as a nearshoring effect to be close to the United States, to produce with a cheaper labor, with a strategic real estate affordability, and so they can send their products to the United States. So we have what we call the automotive belt, all the way from Aguascalientes to Querétaro, going through Guanajuato. This is central Mexico, and all the automotive industry in Mexico, of the world is there. So we offer a lot of industrial market and an amazing market. Actually, we need more industrial real estate. A lot of companies are coming to Mexico, and that's a huge opportunity to invest. We have coastal destinations, favorable exchange rates for you Americans, and we have a very strong middle class. Mexico has something around 131 million people with a very strong middle class who are not only buying, but they are also buying abroad. They are buying in Texas, California, Florida, Chicago, and I have met some people that are buying property real estate in New York. So as you can see, my passion is to talk about AMPI, but to connect it to the world, to have international friends, to really, I understood I learned from an old real estate guy, an old friend that just passed away. He told me, your net worth is your network. So we believe in the power of connecting, of making AMPI international, but also more than that, make our friends from all over countries to come and know AMPI and Mexico. And I don't want to lose the opportunity, Agueda and all of you, just to invite you all to our International Congreso in Chihuahua this month of October, from the 22nd of October to 24th. It is an amazing event. Realtors from all over Mexico, the United States, and South America, Central America, come to Mexico, and we have a beautiful experience. Brenda has been there many times, and she can tell you, not only, it's not about real estate, we have tremendous experience eating, dancing, drinking. We have a great experience in our Congress, so I want to invite you all. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And if you want to know more about what we do, you can find me in the AMPI webpage, and I'm here to serve anything you need.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Don't go away because we'll speak with you a little bit further. I have been to Chihuahua, and we can't go. We thought about attending this year, but we'll look forward to next year, and we invite everybody here, including the panelists. One of the things that we are concerned about, as referral partners, we want to make sure that our clients are going to be well served wherever we're connecting them to. And so if we connect with somebody like you, for instance, and you also cover Guadalajara, a very beautiful colonial city right? Tell me a little bit about the process and also a little bit about ownership rights, because it may differ from state to state, but certainly it must differ from, our area here in Rhode Island. Specifically to foreign buyers.
Thank you, Agueda. Well, in Mexico, foreigners can own property, of course, directly in most of the country without restriction. The only special rule that we have is that we have something called restricted zone or areas, which includes properties within 50 kilometers of the coast and 100 kilometers of the borders. So if you want to buy a property in Puerto Vallarta or Cancun or Cabos, that's a restricted zone. That doesn't mean that you cannot own it. The only thing is that you have to do it through a fideicomiso or a fiduciary bank. In those cases, buyers go to a bank trust, and these trusts are safe, are renewable every 50 years, and they provide the same rights as direct ownership. You can sell, lease, inherit, or improve the property. That's a restriction that is based in our international investment law, and I don't think any politician will really take the risk to change it, but many Americans, many foreigners own property in restricted areas.
Wonderful. Brenda, you purchased something in, I don't know, you can tell us where exactly, and tell me a little bit about your experience and the process, how you handled it, even though you were a native citizen.
Yes, well, I purchased this property in Acapulco. That was a while ago. I didn't have that deep connection to AMPI. However, I did use an agent, which I wasn't really sure of the process when everything started. But we have to really be careful here, because the agent, even though it was somebody that I knew, but it was working for the developer and didn't know much about the process other than opening and showing the property, right? So it wasn't an easy process, because even though I have over 20 years experience in Texas, it's not the same when you go somewhere else. Everything ended up working out. However, I was just thinking, if instead of me, that would be a client that I send there, and I didn't send them with the right representation, would it be, it wouldn't be a really good experience. However, I can tell you really, really good things that happened. When I was going to send the money, I did take a cash out from my home so I can purchase cash. Back then, you couldn't finance in Mexico. Now there are companies, and actually I'm here with one of these companies. But there are companies that can finance for you now with United States citizen and income, and you can come and buy here in Mexico. So that's a really good advantage. I didn't have that, so I have to take money from my house so I can purchase cash in Mexico. And then when that happened, somebody told me that I could do an exchange, send the money with these companies. There are about 3 companies that we use. One is Firma, the other one is Currency Direct, and the other one is, I forgot the other name. But I was able to save about $6,000 instead of using bank to bank, just to go in with these money exchange companies, and they took care of everything. There is a really, really strong law with United States and Mexico that protects for money laundering. So you have to go through a big process in order to take a big amount of money to another country. So they took care of all that. So that was great. But I'll tell you my favorite part of buying in Acapulco or anywhere in Mexico, actually. Just to give you an idea, a home of about $400,000, $500,000 in the United States, you pay about, and I'm going to say about Texas because that's what I know. In Texas, you pay about $10,000 for property taxes every year, right? Well, the same amount of money that you spend on a property in Mexico, which by the way will be an amazing home, you pay probably $500 a year in taxes.
Wow.
I tell you, I pay more money on my HOA a month than I pay in taxes for the entire year. That is my favorite part. The process was good. I was used to having title companies. Now over there is the notary, but I just assumed that I was going to go there and the notary, the public notary, was going to do all the work that that the title companies do, and we don't have to go there, but you know everything, you know, from title insurance and everything. Back then, we didn't have escrow as popular as it is becoming in Mexico, right? So everything has to be wired directly to the owner. So it was a little bit of hesitation from my husband, far more than me, because he said, you know, I am Mexican too, so I'm trusting. But my husband, you know, the culture is a little different. He was like, I trust too, but I want to see it in writing, right? I want an escrow. There are many parts of Mexico that you can find escrows now, and even title insurance, like a Stewart Title. I think First American is also in many parts of Mexico. So, and it will cost you a little money, but no more than we're already paying in the United States. So I'm telling you all this because even though I am familiar with the market here, I know the area. I will never dare to buy a property ever again without the guidance of a professional real estate agent. And even better is it's an international realtor. An international realtor in Mexico means two things. They are members of AMPI and they are members of NAR. So that means that they follow a code of ethics for AMPI and they follow the code of ethics for NAR. And that is, to me, what makes so much easier and trust a lot more what we do. And it's not Mexico, it could be any part of the world, right? So at least we know that there are people that are prepared. Like Alejandro said, we have now about, I think there are 24 states out of the 32 states in Mexico that right now are enforcing real estate laws we didn't have before. They've been working really hard, and now you have to follow some rules. You have to follow your license requirements to sell real estate in Mexico. And some of the states is still in the process. So I think that will give a lot more trust for people to purchase, even though with 1.6 million U.S. citizens living in Mexico, I don't think that they worry too much about it, right? But I think it's gonna open a lot more the markets, and the connection that we have with AMPI and the trust that we have now, and that we are able to share with everybody. I think that's gonna help more, that both sides we can make more money. And our clients are protected and happy in their new homes.
Yes, at the end of the day, that's what's so important. And laws differ from, you know, I'm sure state to state, municipalities, and in some cases, you know, in Rhode Island, we have 39 municipalities, and often zoning rules are different. And it is very important to work with a professional who's going to do the due diligence on your behalf. Very quickly, how long does it take? So why don't we go to Shamila now? Thank you, Brendan. We'll get back to you. Shamila, why don't you talk us a little bit through the process of how long it takes, and of course, representation now with NAR, with the, all of the recent changes. I mean, we do have contracts, and so tell us a little bit about the process, and in particular, if you're working with an international client here in Rhode Island, Shamila.
I mean, the process is pretty much the same as working with a domestic buyer. The only difference, or the main difference, is the visa, what type of visa they have and what type of financing they're obtaining. There are certain programs that you don't qualify for if you are not a U.S. citizen. But obviously there are options. And then, I mentioned the faith-based financing, which is very popular among the Muslim community. It differs from the traditional mortgage because it's a co-ownership model rather than like a lender borrowing the funds. So it eliminates what we call riba, which is interest, which is prohibited in Islam. And luckily we have two lenders who just got approved 6 years ago in Rhode Island. And I just closed one 2 days ago, and it literally took the same amount of time that it would take for any other traditional lender.
Wow, this is incredible. I mean,
again, a very streamlined process in Rhode Island, as you know.
Exactly. Wonderful. Yolanda, do you have anything to add?
Well, to the lending process, I mean, the investors that I've experienced with, a lot of them do bring cash.
Okay.
They've done 1031s, believe it or not, because they've had other properties here. So they sell one, they grab the other. But I do have to say there's a lot of, just actual cash and wirings happening with the people that I've worked with. I know there's other programs that they qualify for, but none of them really have gone that route. What I've seen a lot with the ones that I deal with are the 1031s and money, in the bank and wires coming from overseas.
Right.
And they have their particular title companies that they like to use. There's a few here that I've seen that are great at it. They know what they're doing and they know how to manage their expectations, which is really good because they're very particular in how things need to be done. So it's been a good experience so far. Like, I haven't had any issues with any kind of lending or money having to be used in any of the transactions that they've been involved. So
Excellent. And so in terms of international money, is there a seasoning period, to ensure
it seems no. I mean, though, when I've seen them do, and the time frame is the same what Shamila is saying. It's almost like a same average for any transaction in a way. We do, I don't know, some people do the 30 days, but for me, I believe in the 45 to 60 day just to be safe. And that's what they are, that's what they do.
Yeah.
The money goes into escrow with the attorneys. So a lot of the local attorneys here in Rhode Island hold the money in their accounts, and then it's dispersed, or if it's a 1031, then those people hold it in their own accounts. But I haven't had any issues. I do have one client, he's from Colombia. They're from Peru, and they're in the process right now to see how they can do the financing, like bringing a certain amount of money from their business in Peru and then buying another home here. So that is in the works. That one is a little bit different, I think, from the other investors, because these people invest on a larger scale and this is a smaller one. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna pan out with what, the visa, or how much money they really have to invest, and what documentation they're gonna have to provide the lender here. So that's just starting.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Alejandro, how long does it take? If I go and tour with you in Guadalajara, let's say, as an American, how long would what is the process? Do I sign a contract with you, and how long, once we identify a property, how long until we're able to close?
Well, if you are in Guadalajara, which is not a restricted zone, it's easier, faster. In Mexico, nowadays, more realtors are using exclusivity contracts or listing contracts with exclusivity.
Okay.
Was not really common some years ago. So if you want to sell a property, we need to sign a listing contract for the exclusive of selling it. And after sold it, we need to sign a promise of sale contract with the buyer and seller. And it may take maybe less than a month to close the deed and the title before a notary public, which is a little different. The entity of notary public is different from the United States. But if you're buying a restricted area like Manzanillo or Puerto Vallarta, depending on the fiduciary bank, is the length is going to take. There are banks, I don't mean to mention any names, but they are super slow.
Okay.
We have had some sales that have taken over a year.
Wow.
Because the fiduciary trust does not release the documentation. So in some cases, this is very, I mean, you need to wait a lot, but at the end, it's worth it. And some other banks make the process very fast and maybe up to 90 days to close a deed in a restricted area.
Any cautionary tales other than hiring a professional? Anything that you've heard about that people should be, concerned? Again, if maybe working directly, if I'm directly with a developer or something like that, rather than have representation.
Well, we always recommend to use a realtor, an AMPI member, a certified AMPI associate, because that provides certainty. One of the biggest problems that we have in Mexico is that there are a lot of people selling property without being certified. So that's the main struggle that AMPI is facing, trying to professionalize the services of all the people that are selling real estate, which are not realtors, by the way. So what we do is we ask for credentials. We need to know who we are dealing with, if they are an AMPI member, if they are not, if they belong to another association, if they have the state certification or the state authorization to sell property. So, we have very strong anti-money laundering laws. So you need to make sure that you are working in the right side of the equation. Okay. With professionals, with certified people, and never, I've seen people that try to avoid the process, and at the end, they pay a higher price. So what can I tell you? Go always for an AMPI associate, and you have a safe sale.
Are there any in the U.S. or in our part of the country where we're slowly rebuilding inventory? I mean, not too long ago we had less than a month's supply here in Rhode Island. And in your part of Mexico in particular, what's the inventory like?
Well, in our company, we cover all the way from Manzanillo to Puerto Vallarta, which is like three hours distance from each other. So this area is called Costa Alegre, like Happy Coast. Or so this is like if you can find places now or property to buy, but if you go to Cancun or Riviera Maya, it's not easy to find properties, or they are very expensive. This year we went to Cabos, everything was super expensive. So Vallarta is still a nice place. It's expensive too, but Mexico has a huge coastal site for real estate. What I recommend is that we have inventories for maybe, last year we were selling a lot, this year is slowing down. So properties may last in the market up to 6 months in this area.
And just quickly, one of those beautiful images that you showed us earlier, how much would it cost us if we pooled our resources to be able to buy? You had a couple of, there was one by the ocean, and then there was something that looked a little more traditional. What would be the price point for those?
Let me if you can allow me, Agueda, I can show it pretty fast again.
Yeah, you can do that. And meanwhile, the exchange rate today is about it's 18 point something dollars. What is it? 18 point something.
Depends
So
who you are, in a restaurant, in the bank, in a taxi driver.
we have to negotiate. Okay. But
So-
yeah, just in terms of value, so that we understand. I peaked at second grade math, so I can't do the conversion in my head.
The exchange rate is daily published in the official newspaper of the country. So it's something around 18.40, 18.50.
Okay.
But this is an area in Manzanillo where there's a complex of almost 200 units, all of them ocean view, and you can find properties here from $100,000.
That's incredible.
This is
That's really
Manzanillo.
incredible.
Or you can move a little bit closer to downtown, and this is maybe $300,000.
Wow.
And you can have something like this, like maybe in $1 million. But if you find the same property in other areas of Cancun, it may be three times the price.
Exactly.
So that's,
And
yeah.
yeah, and I'm sure it's the same in Dallas and certainly here in Rhode Island. It's funny what we were able to buy just 3 years ago is vastly different than we're able to afford now. And of course, that has to do with interest rates. Let's see, Brenda, you haven't. Oh my gosh, it's 11:55. We're nearing down. But Brenda, is there something that you want to say about Dallas in terms of we have a heart, which is very nice, but in terms of like that connection, right? Again, it seems like an amazing place you've practiced, and I think you wanted to mention something about distance and not practicing areas that you're unfamiliar with. I mean, again, it's very important to know what you know.
It is very important because part of our code of ethics as realtors, right, is we only work where we are geographical competent, right? So for instance, Dallas-Fort Worth area is huge. There are places I can drive for 1.5 hours and still in Dallas Metroplex, right? So I don't deal with, let's say, Waxahachie, which is about an hour from me, because I can do the entire state of Texas. I can go to San Antonio and sell. I do have a license. I can go to Houston and sell. I can go 2 hours from Dallas and sell. Why I don't do it? Because I don't know that maybe there is a field that is going to be something that my client might not like in the future. Maybe there is a shopping center coming through and my client doesn't like that. See, that is the expertise that you need. So if I don't sell 2-3 hours from my local market, why would I go and sell in another country, even if it's my own country, right? Even if I've been on vacation there 20 times, 100 times, you still don't have geographical competency.
Yeah.
That's what I always encourage. Please use a partner, negotiate with them, right? Use a partner that is expert in the local area. And to answer your question really quick about Dallas-Fort Worth area, our economy is very diverse. I heard from, I think it was our governor say that if if Texas was a country itself, we were probably the 6-7 economy in the world, about many countries. And Dallas is right now becoming the #1 business hub in the state. It used to be Houston, but Dallas is growing a lot more. We are very diverse. We have corporate headquarters moving to Dallas. We have Toyota, we have Jacobs Engineering, we have Charles Schwab. We have so many industries that are moving from insurance, from everything. We have the semiconductor industry that is coming back, financial activities. So we don't have only one, we don't put all our economy in one basket. It's very very open, very diverse, manufacturing, technology. So, and that's why we are able to thrive in our economy. In the amount of people that are coming to the Dallas, and when I say Dallas, I'm talking about the entire Metroplex, Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington. We are growing incredible. I wish I had the number, but somewhere I saw that there were like 10 people moving every hour to Texas. So we are really amazing economy. And I always said, if somebody's not working in Dallas, it's because they don't want to work. Because it's a lot of work. We have a really good market, even though right now, general in the country, we are a little slow in our real estate market. However, we're still pretty good compared to the rest of the country. We are very fortunate. We have a lot of inventory, which we didn't have 2 years ago. I can tell you, you could stay in line with your clients in a 40-degree weather, trying to get into a house to look at it. Many people will put an offer before even looking at a house, because by the time you went back to your office, the house was sold.
Wow.
We don't have a market anymore, thank God, because that's not a good market for our clients sometimes, for our buyers especially. Right now, the market is getting more stable, and I think that as realtors, we like that stable market, right?
Exactly.
I don't want to be totally seller's market or totally buyer's market. I want a balanced market, because that makes our clients happy. And I think that's what we are getting.
Well said. The only thing that you lack is the coastline, like we have 400 miles, and our friend Alejandro has over there in Manzanillo. We are wrapping up. I'm going to allow each of you just to say goodbye or one last word, and thank you for the attendees for staying on with us. We appreciate the information. So I'm going to go from thank you. Shamila, any last words?
Thank you so much. It was very valuable. I learned a lot. So I'm very, very excited. And we have a nonstop flight from Rhode Island to Cancun.
Yay! Yolanda, thank you.
Thank you for having me here, for sharing some of our mutual knowledge from each of our states and countries. So I'm grateful for the opportunity, and thank you for the people that signed up to listen, to us, and we're here to help.
Thank you so much, Yolanda. Alejandro, last word, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Agueda, and thank you for sharing all this experience with Shamila, Yolanda, and Brenda, and all the Rhode Island realtors, and all the opportunity to be here with you today. And please come to Mexico, enjoy our country, and always keep connected with an AMPI member. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Brenda, do you want to say adios, and then I'll say my last goodbye?
Really quick, get involved, get involved, get involved. I tell you, my biggest friends and business partners that have come from the associations that I belong to, AMPI, ARIA, Global Real Estate Alliance, NAREP, whoever you choose, or you choose all of them, get involved.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your time and input, and thank you to the attendees. And until the next time, bye-bye.